Welcome back to Brand Champions. I'm Howard Wolpoff, your host. Again, this is brought to you by Teal, the agency. And I'm excited to have two great guests with us today. I have Lisa Williams from Hello Again and Dannet Botkin from Designs Group Consulting. And welcome to our conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get started. I would love to get a sense. I'm going to start with Dannet. When you're meeting with a client and you're talking about branding, what are some of the key components that you're discussing, whether it's starting with a new brand or kind of getting a sense of really where this brand should be making their statements?
So I always am about brand consistency. So whether it's a new brand or it's a current one, it needs to be colors that the person loves, that represents the company well, and the mission within that logo. And then across the board, whether it's print or it's websites, it's digital marketing, social media, you need to stay consistent to those colors and to the look and the fonts. That's probably the most important thing that I repeat every day is be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. It's almost like McDonald's arches, right? You don't have to know that it's McDonald's if you see the arches. Well, you want the same thing for your brand. You want an icon that just pops up and everybody knows it's you.
Which makes a lot of sense, and not everyone has something as recognizable as McDonald's, of course. So how are you incorporating story into the mix to make sure that there is something that's being shared with the target audience in addition to the imagery of logo and color?
So I truly believe that once you have that brand and that logo established, then doing stories as far as on social media and on your website and digital marketing is super important, as well as videos, explaining what that brand is, bringing in that mission, talking to your audience and your target market as their friends and say, we started this company because we want to support XYZ, or we want small businesses to thrive. So we're going above and beyond. Whatever that mission is, bring it into that story and always be telling that story and always be tying it to your brand and your brand's logo. So, we created this logo because it's got that heart in there. We want to, love all small businesses, that kind of thing. So keep that story going because people want stories. They want to relate to your brand. They want to connect to your brand. So if it's just something that's out there and there's no story with it, it's not going to get as much traction.
And that makes a lot of sense. Now, Lisa, you were working with a brand. And so how does your brand focus on their specific branding with your target audience? And how are you incorporating stories into that mix?
So I think, with Hello Again, we have to relate to our customer who is a woman with trials and tribulations of womanhood, and that's what we're representing. And so we want to make sure that we, like Dannet said, that we're telling our story. I think it's really important, me as the CEO of the brand, that I need to share my mission, my stories as well, because what happens is that's how people relate to you. And it's like they go, oh, that I have those problems, I have those issues, I have those symptoms, and I'm going to come along for the ride. And this is what resonates with me. And I think it's so important to connect with your audience through storytelling, through your mission, through your purpose, through your values, and how that all relates to your customer and your audience.
Which is really important. And the fact that you have a product that really is focused on a specific target audience makes things a lot, I guess, clearer to get that story out there. But I'm sure it was an evolution of the starting of the company to where you are now brand-wise. And how has that evolved over the course of time?
Yeah. And so I think that the other part is, you have to define your audience. You have to know who you're trying to reach, because if you're casting this wide net out into the ethers, you're not talking to anybody. And so for us at Hello Again, we have a very specific niche product. We do vaginal suppositories that are hemp derived for women going through menopause, have period issues or sleep issues. And we had to really dive deep into understanding what their pain points are, what are they looking for, what are they searching for. How do we show up as a brand and answer these questions for them?
Well, it's very important that you tell the right story, because obviously you're addressing specific needs of women, and it's very good that you have some answers for them. So it's fantastic to see branding from both sides from a company, from I guess the consultancy world, of how you're telling the story and creating that imagery. So I thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us as well. This was really great that you got to see both sides. It's not just, okay, here's a concept, I'm working with a company, and this is how we're translating their brand, but it's also now the brand has a life and a vision that they're walking through and translating to an audience. So it's really great to see these stories from all sides, because you see, it's really, the key is how is your target audience seeing it, and great to get two different opinions on the process. So I hope to thank my guests for both joining us today, and I hope you go out, have a great rest of today, and we will see you next time.